So first off, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Ruben. I'm from Chile. Relocated to Austin 5 years ago, just in time. I run a company that is in the intersection of technology and education and literacy or language development. So we help Spanish-speaking kids to first build their native language literacy foundations, meaning the ability to read and comprehend, write, speak and listen their first language, so they can acquire English as a second language in a much better way. So we help school districts to get their Spanish-speaking kids back on track as fast as possible with our technology.
I like it. And you're originally from Chile, so how different, especially like, I'm from Texas, we bonded over that last time. And so we actually met during the lightning rounds for Generators investment series, and I really loved the product that you're working on. And obviously, it's called From Texas, so you got to support your fellow Texans. But once you're in Texas for more than a couple of years, you're grafted in. We accept a lot. And but how different would you say that like Mexican or Tex-Mex Spanish would be from like Chilean Spanish? How hard has that been to transition?
Yeah, it's probably the cultural nuances are different. It's fascinating how integrated into the culture and the language are aspects like rodeo and football and military strategies. So all of that plays a huge role in how the language is spoken, as opposed to South America or other countries in Latin America. There's also a huge influence on the American way of life. So the language tends to be more practical. English usually use verbs for everything and convert whatever action it is into a verb. So I'm Googling something, or I'm tweeting something. Like those are just from technology, but you can find them in every single aspect of your life. So in Spanish, it's not that way. We take more time to say things that we're doing, and that speaks a lot about the speed that we live. Sometimes it's way slower in Latin America. We relax, we're more relaxed, we take our time. So those things combine and have an effect on the language. Then I always make the same comment. A single word can make me friends in Chile and enemies in Mexico. So that speaks a lot about the differences, the cultural differences too. But in general, whoever speaks Spanish from Chile or Bolivia or Argentina can communicate very well with someone that speaks Spanish and lives in Texas. So it's there will be accents for sure and words that have different meanings, but other than that, it's not different than British versus American accent.
Good to know. Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to learn Spanish right now, and it's I'm half Mexican. Should know it, but we're getting there little by little. I spent about 2.5 weeks in Mexico City last year, and by the end of it, my listening got a lot better. But all right, I just honestly, and this, there's no substitute for immersion. You just drop somebody in a place for a few months, and like you'll become fluent, or it takes a lot of effort not to become fluent if you stay there long enough, But I've had some friends do that, but that's a different story. So tell me about the origins of Beereaders. Tell me how it started. Like what's like, why is this mission so important to you?
Well, it comes with a personal mission, of course. I was the first person in my family graduating from college back in 2010. Oh wow, it's been a while. 2010. I come from a low-income family, and scholarships were my best friends. Otherwise, there was no education, period. So I took it very seriously. I was the best student always. I had no other choices. And I take a lot of pride in saying that my mom did a great job doing the same for me and for my sister. Um, well, I entered the engineering school at a very, very good public school in Chile. 3-4 years in, I noticed that my classmates that were graduating already, because they were older than me, like older generations, they want to work for big companies like banks or airlines, or like really big Chilean companies, like legacy companies, which was my dream, by the way, before my mind changed. I noticed that they were so frustrated because they were just another number in a payroll. I heard very sad stories about how undervalued they went. So that kind of encouraged me to become an entrepreneur in the first place. And then in the discovery process of what's going to be my mission when it comes to start a company, the dots kind of connected magically. Like, yeah, education took me here. I would love to share this with as many kids as possible. And that's how things started in late 2010, early 2011. And this particular company started in late 2019. I was thinking on reflecting on my career as an education and EdTech entrepreneur in Chile. I found myself stuck in the middle of nowhere most of the time, because no matter how good my products were or how many customers I was able to attract in my first couple of years in each one of the first 2 companies I started, even raising capital from local angels was so frustrating. So I always wanted to start something in the American way, with a different perspective of the world, not just a local company that slowly can expand towards other markets, but I wanted to start something for the language, for Spanish, the Spanish language. So that's why I started my applications right after the establishment of the company in 2019 to accelerators here in Austin, also in California, in New York. I applied to several, and the first one in saying yes was from Austin. I've never visited Austin before, so I grabbed a flight and came to learn about the city, and I fell in love, and here I am 5 years later.
Nice. I like it. So tell me more about, like, how does Beereaders specifically work? Is it an app? Is it like a book program, booklets, or what does it look like?
So we are a platform with several components and solutions depending on who's the audience. But remember, we partner with districts, and within a district you have several different users. You have the administrators who oversee the entire roster of students, but they also oversee teachers. So there you have 2 more of our profiles or users. We also have families. So this platform has three different components, one for each profile. Kids log in either mobile or desktop, and then just go ahead and practice their reading and writing skills with us in Spanish.
I like it. Nice. Tell me more about before you came to Austin. Let's talk about Chile. I think you went through the Startup Chile program, right?
I was there, yep.
I've heard great things about that, so I wanted to hear more about that and more kind of just like the startup community in Chile as a whole. Like, what did it look like? What did it look like back then? And I'm sure you still have friends down there. Like, how has it changed over time?
Yeah, so I did Startup Chile with my second company. This is my third. With my second one, I did it. It was good. It was great to have like an ecosystem, which is, or back then, this was 2015. So hopefully things may have evolved and got more mature over the years. I hope so.
I hope so.
But it was good to have something. Before that, we literally had nothing, and they created a very nice community, not just of entrepreneurs that come from everywhere in the world, but also advisors, mentors that work for big corporations, and they either lead the innovation side of the business, or they work within like a venture arm within the company, or they have something that makes them passionate about entrepreneurship, so they give back to the entrepreneurial community. That's very good. You can get advice from from highly seasoned people that works for the industry you are also trying to penetrate. It's good to have free money always. It comes with a lot of strings attached. So you have to literally work for the government, because this is a federal funded program, which is great. Again, it's free money, but they ask you for a lot of reports you have to fill in every month. So that's a lot of work. But again, it's free money, and ultimately you are kind of an ambassador of your country's innovation strategy. So they want you to be a person that is actually giving a good image, providing a good image to the rest of the world, and with your example, you are inviting other founders to join the program from elsewhere. So all in all, was good. I felt that again, it was too early for someone that already had a company in the past. So to me, the knowledge and the program, the modules they taught us were literally too basic. But if you're a first-time founder, for sure that would have added a lot of value. I don't know how it's the curriculum right now, because they do provide a curriculum, and but that was my experience. At least they connected us with investors, with like not just Chilean, but also from other countries. And I understand that that's something that has improved a lot. They have like partnerships with more and more venture capital firms, and for sure that's something great.
Yeah, we've been researching a lot in South America. Has been happening from Sao Paulo, Brazil, to Bogota, Colombia, to all over. How have you seen like Chile specifically evolving compared to those? Like, is it different industries that you're seeing growing more specifically? Like you're in Austin, you see like especially here in the US, very specific industries come out of very specific cities. Like a lot of med tech and oil tech comes out of Houston. A lot of like deep tech and AI is coming out of Austin and Silicon Valley. So what would you kind of categorize Santiago, Chile as right now?
I would say there's a lot of fintech. Yeah, of course, given the country's nature, we do a lot of mining, we do a lot of agriculture and winery. So there's always been sort of a big push from these programs, like the federal run programs, to foster more and more innovation around those areas. But our first couple of unicorns in Chile are related to the fintech industry. So that's for sure something that is encouraging other founders to follow the same trajectory, I have to say. My industry in particular is practically inexistent. There is just a couple of companies that are truly innovating or doing something that is in the learning side of the EdTech space. You'll find others that do kind of administration or rostering, like the operation side of running a school. On the learning side, there's just a few, and there was a boom, but like in pandemic times, there was a lot of entrepreneurs, former educators that just left the school and went ahead to start their own startups in education, but I haven't tracked them ever since. I know it's very, very hard to scale in Chile. The market in general, not just education, but in general, is small. So that's good and bad. When it comes to generating early traction, you have a very low ceiling, which forces you to the good part, which is you need to look at other geographies right away. You need to start looking at Peru, which is twice our size. Then you have to scale to Colombia, it's twice Peru size, and then of course Mexico. So that's typically the trajectory that founders follow from Chile, aiming to land in the US at some point if it's appropriate given your vertical.
Just keep moving north.
Moving north, yep. Moving north.
All right. We'll wrap up with just one more question for, I haven't been able to visit Santiago, Chile yet, but any recommendations for anybody whose first time might be in the next year or two wanting to visit, down there?
Yeah, so I would start by saying choose your season. Do you want to go for summer vacation?
Definitely summer.
Or like a wintry experience, because in any case you'll find fascinating things to do.
Yeah.
From Santiago, you are within 1 hour distance, driving distance, either from the mountains and top ski resorts, or 1 hour to the coast, and you have wineries in between with the best price quality relation you'll find in the winery industry in the world, not just Latin America. And then if you love seafood and you want to kind of enjoy the exquisite seafood cuisine from Chile, then that's my recommendation for you to go. And you'll find beautiful beaches 1 hour and a half from the capital city. And the capital itself has a lot of nightlife and restaurants. It's a very, very unique combination of Mediterranean food with Peruvian, Japanese fusion. It's just great. Cocktails are so good if you are into cocktails.
Is there a large Japanese population in?
No, but we're taking advantage of what is called Nikkei cuisine.
Okay.
If you know Nikkei, it's a fusion between Japanese and Peruvian. We have a lot of Peruvian restaurants, and they learned about our obsession with sushi. So they mixed Peruvian flavors with sushi, and they created something that's just next level. You haven't tried anything like that until you go there and you find the best restaurants, which are pretty much everywhere in Santiago right now.
Interesting. Yeah, when I was in it's called Mexico City, I know Mexico City was a city of refuge is what it was called. So anytime there was a major war, somewhere in Asia or Europe or somewhere, a lot of people would flood there. And there was actually in their history museum a section just on the tight friendship between Japan and Mexico. How there are like cherry blossom trees in Mexico City because of the emperor who sent them over as a gift. And there's some sort of tree in Tokyo from Mexico that they sent over. So they're good friends, and there's surprisingly large population. So I'd wonder if some of them made their way, south down to Chile and started, because you get a lot of that is, 2, 3, 4 generations later, you're ethnically Japanese, but you speak fluent Spanish as your first language.
That's fascinating. Yeah. Well, if you travel south in Chile, you'll find German, Yugoslavian, or Croatian now.
Really?
Populations that arrived after World War I, and they created entire towns that look like a small village in Germany. And the influence is so notorious. It's beautiful the way they mixed our flavors with their style of cooking, and the produce was just blows your mind when you try it. So
you get some good combinations that way.
Oh, yeah, it's a very good combination, and beer and everything that they come with. So
of course you can't do it without beer.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time today, man. It's been a pleasure to talk.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you for having me, Rand.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, take care. Bye.